Hello everyone!
Today we will be your teachers. 6th grade students, today we are going to plunge into the world of the Winnie Pooh, and today we will be able to learn more about the Winnie Pooh, to learn more about the friendship, to appreciate the life, to appreciate the friendship, to be grateful for the life. It helps you to broaden your horizon, to learn more new vocabulary about the Winnie Pooh and the animals too. And who is the author of this, the Winnie Pooh? Ellen Miller. Ellen Alexandra Miller created the character Winnie the Pooh after his son Stuffed Bear and the Swan. The Stuffed Bear was originally named as Edward, but was renamed after the Canadian black bear. And all the characters in this book were inspired by toys that his son Christopher Robin played with, including Tiger, Kanga, Piglet, and Roo. Milne published a variety of works including novels, non-fiction, magazine articles, short story collection for the children and adults, poetry collection, and many plays and screenplay.
So let's start our lesson with warm-up. Let's imagine, guys, that we are going on a picnic with Winnie Pooh and his friends. So next slide. There you can see the items that we will bring into the picnic. So you need to keep in mind all these stuffs, because I will show them only the 15 seconds, and after that you need to draw what you keep in mind, okay? So 15 seconds. So right now you can draw what you keep in mind. So guys, look at the picture. What do you see? There we can see the piglet, tiger, Winnie Pooh, kangaroo. So are they friends or enemies? How do you think? Have you watched Winnie Pooh series? Did you like it? What is your favorite character? How many characters do you know?
Okay, look at the board. Let's name these characters together. Winnie the Pooh,
Winnie the Pooh,
Piglet,
Piglet,
the bird Owl,
the bird Owl,
Christopher Robin,
Christopher Robin,
and donkey Your, rabbit,
Rabbit,
tiger,
Tiger,
and kangaroo.
Kangaroo.
Let's read the sentences together and guess who is this one. The wise and knowledgeable. Is it Piglet? How do you think?
No.
Is it the bird?
Yes.
Maybe. Okay. The wise and knowledgeable also serves as the voice of reason and imparts wisdom to the other characters. So, is it the bird?
Yes.
So, okay, you are all correct. So, next. Now, let's learn the new vocabulary. The first word is humming. How do you think, guys? The girl is humming or dancing? Humming. Yes, when we listen to familiar music, we can hum. Yes, guys?
Yes.
Okay. The next word is condensed milk. Is it sweetie or salty? Sweetie, right. The next, greedy. If someone do not want to share the candies, how do we call them? Greedy, yes. Do you have greedy friends?
No.
Or are you greedy?
No.
Okay. Next task. There have empty gaps and you have to fill it to improve your accuracy and set your knowledge about the new vocabulary. You have to, as I said, fill the gaps in the correct order of the letters. The first is G, the second I, the third H, the fourth S. How do you think? Is it hikes?
No.
Is it Ikes?
No.
Is it Sai?
Yes.
So now the third one you have to do by yourself. So what are you going to do?
To fill the
Fill
gaps.
Yes, right here. Please do it. Please listen carefully. Now we will perform your puppet show, and after this show, you will guess who is the author of the sentences. Please look carefully. You're taking up a good deal of room in my house. Do you mind if I use your back legs as a towel horse? Next, silly old bear. There must be somebody there because somebody must have said nobody. Okay, What should you do after a puppet show? Yes, match this sentence.
Edward Bear, known to his friends as Winnie the Pooh, or Pooh for short, was walking through the forest one day, humming proudly to himself.
Tra-la-la, 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 tra-la-la. Rum-tum-tiddle-um-tum, tiddle-eedle, tiddle-eedle, rum-tum-tum, tiddle-um.
Well, he was humming his hum to himself and walking along gaily, wondering what anybody else was doing and what it felt like being somebody else, when suddenly he came to the sandy bank, and in the bank was a large hole.
Aha!
Said Pooh.
If I know anything about anything, that hole means rabbit, and rabbit means company, and company means food, and listen to me humming such like rum-tum-tiddle-um.
So he bent down, put his head into the hole, and called out.
Is anybody at home?
There was a sudden scuffling noise from inside the hole, and then silence.
Is anybody at home?
Called out Pooh very loudly.
No, you needn't shout out so loud. I heard you quite well the first time.
Bother!
Said Pooh.
Isn't there anybody here at all?
Nobody.
Winnie the Pooh took his head out of the hole and then thought for a little, and he thought to himself.
There must be somebody there because somebody must have said nobody.
So he put his head back in the hole and said,
Hello, Rabbit, isn't that you?
No,
said Rabbit in a different sort of voice this time.
But isn't that Rabbit's voice?
I don't think so.
Said Rabbit.
It isn't meant to be.
Oh,
Said Pooh. He took his head out of the hole and had another thing, and then he put it back and said,
well, could you very kindly tell me where Rabbit is?
He has gone to see his friend Pooh Bear, who is a great friend of his.
But this is me,
said Bear, very much surprised.
What sort of me?
Pooh Bear.
Are you sure?
Said Rabbit, still more surprised.
Quite sure.
Said Pooh.
Oh, well, then come in.
So Pooh pushed and pushed and pushed his way through the hole, and at last he got in.
You are quite right.
Said Rabbit, looking at him all over.
It's you. Glad to see you.
Who do you think it was?
Well, I wasn't sure. You know how it is in the forest. One can't have anybody coming into one's house. One has to be careful. What about a mouthful of something?
Pooh always liked a little something at 11 o'clock in the morning, and he was very glad to see Rabbit getting out the plates and mugs. And when Rabbit said,
Honey or condensed milk with your bread?
he was so excited that he said,
Boss!
and then so as not to seem greedy, he added,
But don't bother about the bread, please.
and for a long time after that he said nothing, until at last, humming to himself in a rather sticky voice, he got up, shook Rabbit lovingly by the paw, and said that he must be going on.
Must you?
Said Rabbit politely.
Well,
Said Pooh,
I could stay a little longer if you...
and he tried very hard to look in the direction of the ladder.
As a matter of fact,
Said Rabbit.
I was going out myself directly.
Oh, well then, I'll be going on. Goodbye.
Well, goodbye. If you're sure you won't have any more.
Is there any more?
Asked Pooh quickly. Rabbit took the covers off the dishes and said,
No, there wasn't.
I thought not.
Said Pooh, nodding to himself.
Well, goodbye, I must be going on.
So he started to climb out the hole. He pulled with his front paws and pushed with his back paws, and in a little while his nose was out in the open again. Then his ears, and then his front paws, and then his shoulders, and then...
Oh, hell! I'd better go back. Oh, bother! I shall have to go on. I can't do either. Oh, help and bother!
Now by this time Rabbit wanted to go for a walk too, and finding the front door full, he went out by the back door and came round the Pooh and looked at him.
Hello, are you stuck?
He asked,
No,
said Pooh carelessly.
just resting and thinking and humming to myself.
Here, give us the paw.
Pooh Bear stretched out the paw and Rabbit pulled and pulled and pulled,
Oh,
cried Pooh.
you're hurting.
The fact is,
Said Rabbit,
you're stuck.
It all comes
said Pooh crossly.
of not having front doors big enough.
It all comes
Said Rabbit sternly.
of eating too much. I thought that at the time. Only I didn't like to say anything. That one of us was eating too much, and I knew it wasn't me. Well, I shall go and fetch Christopher Robin.
Christopher Robin lived at the other end of the forest, and when he came back with Rabbit and saw the front half of Pooh, he said,
Silly old bear.
in such a loving voice that everybody felt quite hopeful again,
I was just beginning to think,
said Bear, sniffing slightly.
oh, that Rabbit might never be able to use his front door again, and I should hate that.
So should I?
Said Rabbit,
Use his front door again?
said Christopher Robin,
Of course he'll use his front door again.
Good.
said Rabbit.
If you can't pull out, poor, we might push you back.
Rabbit stretched his whiskers thoughtfully and pointed out that when once Pooh was pushed back, he was back, and of course nobody was more glad to see Pooh than he was. Still there it was, some lived in trees and some lived underground, and,
You mean I'd never get out?
said Pooh,
I mean that having got so far, it seems a pity to waste it.
Then there's only one thing to be done. We shall have to wait for you to get thin again.
How long does getting thin take?
asked Pooh anxiously.
About a week, I should think.
But I can stay here for a week.
You can stay here all right, silly old bear. It's getting you out which is so difficult.
We will read to you,
Said Rabbit cheerfully.
and I hope it won't snow. And I say, old fellow, you're taking up a good deal of room in my house. Do you mind if I use your back legs as a towel horse? Because I mean, they are doing nothing, and it would be very convenient just to hang the towels on them.
A week?
Said Pooh gloomily.
What about meals?
I'm afraid no meals,
Said Christopher Robin.
because of getting thin quicker, but we'll read to you.
Bear began to sigh and then found he couldn't because he was so tightly stuck, and the tear rolled down his eye as he said,
Oof. Then would you read a sustaining book such as would help and comfort a wretched bear in great tightness?
So for a week Christopher Robin read that sort of book at the north end of Pooh, and Rabbit hung his washing on the south end, and in between Bear felt himself getting slenderer and slenderer.
1 week later.
And at the end of the week Christopher Robin said,
Now!
so he took hold of Pooh's front paws, and Rabbit took hold of Christopher Robin, and all Rabbit's friends and relations took hold of Rabbit, and they all pulled together. And for a long time Pooh said,
Oh,
and
oh,
then all of a sudden he said,
pop.
just as if a cork were coming out of bottle. And Christopher Robin and Rabbit and all Rabbit's friends and relations went head over heels backwards, and on the top of them came Winnie the Pooh, free! So with a nod of thanks to his friends, he went on with his walk through the forest, humming proudly to himself, but Christopher Robin looked after him lovingly and said to himself,
Silly old bear.
Now there will be project-based tasks. Please divide into 3 groups. We have the puzzles. One by one, take the piece of these puzzles, and then we will assemble the puzzle together. And then we will have 3 groups: Christopher Robin, Rabbit, and the Winnie the Pooh. For each group, we have tasks.
For each group, you need to draw a dream house of your character. First group, what's your character?
Christopher
Robin. So, his dream house might be full of
Books.
So, okay. Next, come up with a poem like a group anthem of 2 lines describing your character. For example, tiny piglet, heart so grand, brings friendship and joy to the land. Winnie the Pooh, kind and wise, brings warmth and laughter to the skies. For improving your collaborative skills, we will give you 3 different flashcards with 3 different texts. You need to read the text and answer to the question within the group.
At the end of this lesson, I want to give you a homework. Your task is solve these math problems and then cover it by numbers.